Hello everyone, in this video I'll show you step by step how to install and configure an OpenVPN server on a Windows VPS. This is a simple yet powerful solution to build your own private VPN server, helping you secure your internet connection, access remote data safely, and manage your network more effectively. The first step is to download the OpenVPN Community Edition installer from the official OpenVPN website. Here, make sure to select the version that matches your Windows server on the VPS and download the installer file. Next, we need to check the VPS public IP address since clients will use this to connect. The easiest way is to open your browser, go to whatismyip.com, and you'll see it right away. Alright, everything is ready. Now let's install OpenVPN from the file we just downloaded. When the setup window appears, click Customize to check the components. In the Custom Installation window, make sure to check Enable OpenVPN Pre-Logon Access Provider. Also select Easy RSA3 Certificate Management Scripts. This tool is used to create and manage certificates for OpenVPN. Now, click Install Now to start the installation. After the installation is complete, open the command prompt as administrator. This is where we'll begin the configuration process for OpenVPN Server. Next, in the command prompt, navigate to the Easy RSA folder. This is where we'll create and manage the certificates for OpenVPN. Next, we'll start Easy RSA using the file available in the folder. This tool helps us create and manage certificates for OpenVPN. Next, we will clean up any old configurations or certificates to start a fresh environment for Easy RSA. Next, we'll initialize a new PKI structure. This will serve as the foundation for managing and issuing certificates in OpenVPN. Type Yes to confirm and press Enter to continue. Next, we'll create the Certificate Authority, or CA. This is the root certificate used to sign and verify other certificates in OpenVPN. The system will ask for a common name for the CA. You can choose something simple and easy to remember, for example, hostname, then press Enter to finish. You'll see that the CA has been created successfully. This is the CA we just generated, and it will be used to sign and verify other certificates. Next, we'll generate the certificate for the OpenVPN server. This certificate allows the server to authenticate when clients connect. Let's name it Server to keep things simple. Type Yes and press Enter to confirm generating the server certificate. Once you confirm and the process completes, you'll see the server certificate and private key generated inside the Easy RSA folder. Next, we'll generate the Diffie-Hellman key. This is required to establish a secure encrypted channel between the server and clients. Once the process is complete, you'll find the dh.pem file in the Easy RSA folder. At this point, we already have all the necessary files for the OpenVPN server. Next, let's create a new folder on the desktop and gather these files into one place to make them easier to manage. Next, copy all the files we just generated into this new folder, including the CA file, the certificate, the private key, and the DH file. This way, everything will be organized and easy to manage. Alright, now we have all 4 essential files we just created: the CA, the certificate, the private key, and the Diffie-Hellman. Next, we'll create the configuration file for the OpenVPN server. This file will define the server settings and link the 4 certificates and keys we've just prepared. Keep in mind that the file names we created must exactly match the ones declared in the configuration file. If they don't match, OpenVPN won't be able to recognize them and will fail to run. Here, I'm defining an IP range that VPN clients will receive when they connect. You can change this and use a different range if you prefer, as long as it doesn't conflict with your existing local network. You can also specify a different DNS server if you like. Here, I'm using Google's DNS for convenience. In addition, I'm setting the default port of the OpenVPN server to 1194. You can change it to another port if you prefer, as long as that port isn't already used by another service. Now, save this configuration file with the .ovpn extension so that OpenVPN can recognize and use it. Alright, now we have a total of 5 essential files for the OpenVPN server. Next, copy all of them into the autoconfig and private folders to keep things organized and ready for configuration. After finishing the configuration, the next step is to enable IP routing on Windows. This is required so that client devices can route their network traffic through the VPN server. First, open the registry editor by typing registry in the Windows search bar. Then, right-click and select Run as Administrator to open it with admin privileges. Next, navigate to the following path in the registry editor. Here, you'll see the IP Enable Router key with the default value set to 0. Double-click on it so we can make the change. When the edit window opens, first change the base to decimal. Then, update the value from 0 to 1 and click OK to save. Next, we'll enable NAT so that VPN clients can access the internet through the server. Open PowerShell as administrator. We'll create a new NAT for the VPN using PowerShell. Here I'm using the new netnat command with the name VPN NAT and specifying the internal network range we configured earlier. Keep in mind that you must specify the exact same network range as defined in the OpenVPN Server configuration file. Next, we'll enable Internet connection sharing. This step is required so that VPN clients can access the Internet through the VPN server. Here, you'll see two network interfaces. One is the physical network of the VPS, and the other is the OpenVPN network interface we just set up. Now, select the OpenVPN network interface. After finishing the configuration, you'll see that the network status is now marked as shared. Next, we'll configure the Windows Firewall to allow connections through port 1194, which is the default port we declared in the OpenVPN configuration file. If your firewall is turned off, you can skip this step. In my case, the firewall is enabled, so I'll configure it to allow port 1194. Here, select Inbound Rules, then click New Rule to create a new one. Select Port, then click Next to continue. Here, select UDP and enter port 1194, then click Next to continue. Select Allow the connection, then click Next to continue. Finally, give your rule a name, then click Finish to complete. Alright, now let's go back to the command prompt. We'll generate a certificate for the client, which will be used to connect to the VPN. Here, I'll create one named Client1. Type Yes to confirm the client certificate creation, then press Enter to continue. You will see the newly created certificate appear in the folder. This is the certificate for the client. Next, let's create a separate folder for the client, so we can gather all the necessary configuration files in one place for easier management. We'll also copy the client certificate and key, along with the CA certificate, into the client folder. These files are required for the client to connect to the VPN server. Next, we'll create the client1 configuration file. In this sample file, make sure to use your public IP address so the client can connect to the server over the internet. Next, you also need to specify the CA certificate, client certificate, and private key using the same names we created earlier. Finally, save this configuration file with the .ovpn extension so the client can use it to connect to the VPN. Alright, now we have all 4 essential files for the client. Now, copy the entire client folder to the machines where you want to use the VPN. Each client will use the files in this folder to connect to the server. Finally, restart the server to apply all the changes we've just configured. Alright, the server configuration is complete. Now, let's switch to a client machine to test the VPN connection. Before proceeding, make sure you have all 4 essential client files: the CA certificate, client certificate, private key, and the .ovpn configuration file. Next, download and install OpenVPN Community on the client machine, just like we did on the server. Next, if the firewall on the client is enabled, make sure to open port 1194 so OpenVPN can connect to the server. Next, click on Outbound Rules, then click New Rule to create a new one. Next, copy all the client files into the config folder of OpenVPN on the client machine. This is where OpenVPN will read the configuration and certificate files when connecting. Now, open the OpenVPN GUI on the client. Right-click the OpenVPN icon, select the client configuration file, and click Connect to start the VPN connection. When the client successfully connects, the OpenVPN icon in the taskbar will turn green, and you'll see a message indicating that the connection has been established. To verify the VPN connection, open a browser on the client and visit MITM. You should see the public IP of the VPN server, confirming that everything is working correctly. So we've completed setting up and configuring the OpenVPN server on Windows VPS, as well as creating and configuring the client to connect to the VPN. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and share if you found this video helpful.